So this class was a really interesting class. I thought it was challenging. I learned a lot. I learned from other students. I learned about their perspectives. I hope that some people learn from my perspectives, have something positive to take away from that. Um, I thought it was interesting that we got to kind of shape the class ourselves, being that we got to make the discussion questions. One thing that I would have changed about that was maybe to have it a required discussion chat with our groups every week, just because some of the readings were a little bit challenging to me. Some of them were kind of dry and it was hard to get through, and I would get through them, but I wouldn't really comprehend them. So I think something that would have helped me was to have just the group blog open for us to talk to each other. So we put our paper into the three sections: the description of the class, our place, and then cycle the 4 readings. We actually wrote about more than 4 readings, but I'm going to focus on the 4 readings discussed between all of us that affected me the most. I guess I found the most interesting, that I wrote about in discussion posts. So for the description of the class, we broke into 3 parts: the social constructs, the gendered institution, and the social change. So I think it was important to learn about the social constructs, because then we could learn about everyone's place in society, the roles that we have to fill, what we're expected to do. And then that moves into gendered institutions, like learning about education, religion, like all of the parts of society that make us the way we are, give us the roles that we need to fill. And then moving into social change, like how we can use what we learned from this class to change society or change other people's opinions. And then we moved into our place in society, our place in this class. So one thing that I mentioned was that this class was kind of challenging when I wrote about my perspectives in the discussion posts, and to have other people challenge me or have different opinions. I think it was important for me to learn and to try to understand their points of views, even if they were different than me, to not negate them, but to see like the importance of their reasoning. Like, though it was different doesn't mean they are wrong. Just a different way of looking at it. And I think it was important for me to learn about that. As a gender and women's studies major, I think that I had different perspectives than a lot of people, and I hope that maybe they took something away from me, because I definitely took things away from their perspectives. This class, I think, definitely shaping the discussion questions ourselves was interesting, and I thought it was a great learning experience to be able to work with other people, and like we really made this class successful. All the questions we made, they were all student-run weekly assignments, really. So now I'm going to move into the 4 readings that I thought were the most important. So the Cycle of Socialization by Bobby Harrow. I thought this was important reading because it really brought the idea that our socialization doesn't really end. It starts like before we're born. It's always happening. Our family first, then our peers, being in school, jobs. We're like constantly changing and constantly being affected by other people, other cultures. Another reading that we talked about was Hierarchy of Oppressions by Audre Lorde. This reading was really personal to me because it was important that intersectionality was talked about. Being a lesbian and being biracial, I think that it's important for me to know that I'm in these different social groups and I'm oppressed by different places in different times, and so many other people are oppressed. Even if I don't see it from the outside, they may be affected. Another reading that I liked a lot was Lesbians and Doctors, which we talked about in our writing. This reading was pretty important to me because I think it highlights a part of oppression that isn't seen so much, and I can definitely relate to it, and I know that it doesn't only have to do with people of a certain sexuality, it also do with race or social class and the way they're treated, not even just by institutions such as healthcare, but also in education and other large institutions. The last reading that we wrote about that I thought was very important was white privilege and male privilege. And I think this was an important reading because it's important for us to know our social place and know when to put that aside so that we can relate to other people, see their oppression even if we don't feel that oppression. Overall, I really enjoyed this class. I think that it had a great end with the social justice education readings and really bringing home the idea of using what we've learned to change or help change society a little bit.